More than 100 years ago, Sir Zafrullah Khan made a journey to this very place that I'm in today, Woking. These are my roots. Someone who we don't talk about in the development of Islam in England is Sir Zafrullah Khan. It's almost like he's been a footnote in history, and I can't see why that's the case, to be honest with you. His journey starts thousands of miles away in India. Very quickly, he rose up the academic ranks. He became a lawyer. He would then go on to be a future jurist, an author. He would then be invited to Pakistan's government. He would also go to the UN. He would work in The Hague. Almost his accolades are endless. But the thing that I'm really focusing in on here today is when he came to Woking 100 years ago, he actually came to the Shah Jahan Mosque, and it was him, alongside his colleague Khwaja Kamaluddin, who came under the instructions of the Ahmadi Caliphate within India to investigate this mosque that he saw 100 years ago. Now, by the time they got to the mosque in Woking more than 100 years ago, what they saw was a place that had been completely disused, abandoned. It was almost pitiful, and the accounts of the time actually reflect that too. Now, bear in mind, we need to set the story of exactly what was happening. Sir Zafrullah Khan was already in England at the time. His companion, Khwaja Kamaluddin, was sent an instruction by the Ahmadi leader, Maulvi Hakim Nuruddin. He said to Khwaja Kamaluddin, "Go find out about this mosque," more or less. So together they go. Khwaja Kamaluddin has just come from India. He's in a foreign land. He even stays with Sir Zafrullah Khan for some time, who helps acquaint him with English ways. They venture out from London, where they were staying in West London. This is around late 1912, early 1913. Now, within this time, they probably made about 2 visits. And each time, Khwaja Kamaluddin has given us his account of what happened in an extreme amount of detail, and it tells us exactly what was going on in England at the time. The first time they arrived, it appeared the mosque was shut, empty, dogs were running around, the Quran was open. It was with great pain they saw what they saw. Now, in order to change things, something stirred within them. Khwaja Kamaluddin knew later in the week would be the Friday prayers, Jummah, and who else had been invited to open it? It certainly wasn't them, nor traditional Muslims. It was actually Abdul Baha, who had just come from America. This really pained Khwaja Kamaluddin, who felt Islamic orthodoxy was being lost whilst it was inviting possibly what is seen as a foreign figure to reopen a mosque. Khwaja Kamaluddin restyled the event. He made it Friday prayers. Abdullah Baha was still to come. Now, come to that second event. Khwaja Kamaluddin and Zafrullah Khan are both there. Abdul Baha is there as well. He didn't actually attend the Friday prayers. It was actually Khwaja Kamaluddin who then saw him and invited him to offer the Asr prayer. He actually indicated Khwaja Kamaluddin to lead the prayer. Now, what's fascinating here is 100 years ago, or even more than that, there was such a mingling of religions within this town, something that we still see today within this town. It was from then on in that Ahmadi Muslim mission reactivated this mosque. So the Shah Jahan Mosque lived again. It was not just there when Sir Zafrullah Khan's story finished, when it came to Islam in England. Only a short time later, maybe in a year or so, he would actually take the Ahmadi missionary that had come, and would show him London and educate him about English culture and style. He would then be integral to the early Ahmadi mission. Now, ultimately, what I'm driving home here is there are so many great figures with Islam within the Western world, in America and England, whether we talk about Abdullah Quilliam, whether we talk about Khwaja Kamaluddin, whether we talk about Alexander Russell Webb. But what about Sir Zafrullah Khan? He hosted so many people that came to this land when Muslims were in such pitiful numbers. He's the one that gave the push and impetus and was able to help educate those coming from foreign lands that came purely for preaching Islam. And this was just the beginning of a wonderful, amazing career that we can look back on 100 years ago to see that it was someone like Sir Zafrullah Khan, someone who would lead Pakistan, someone who would lead efforts to bring together Anglo-Indian and Muslim efforts all in one.